let's start with our remaining topics for the first paper. So, for those of you who have not gone through the previous two videos, just go through the first and second video of this series. What we've done is we've had a discussion about the first part of the topics of paper one, and also just to let you know that it is very important that for both prelims and mains you keep on revising the syllabus, because this itself has a lot of keywords and areas which you will not get confused unless you go through the syllabus on a regular basis. With that, let us start with this discussion. Now, uh, again, I will lay importance to these two topics that are here, and these two paragraphs that I mentioned here. The first one is for GS, and the second one is for optional. Okay, so just go through this again, just to keep it in mind and memorize it. Okay, now let's go with the next topic. So the next topic is Unit 4, which is political organization and social control. So in the previous topics, if you remember, that we covered kinship and economic organizations, and this the next topic, it is just like a sequence, okay? Because after kinship and economic organizations, what does a society have is the political structure. So political organization, for example, it starts from band, and then chiefdom, and kingdom, and then state. So the final organization in a political organization in a society is the state, right? And with the state, with all of this comes the concept of power, authority, legitimacy, social control, law and order, justice. All of these areas are a part of the political organization. Okay. Next is religion. So you would have heard uh, and discussed about religion, and this topic is particular about talks about anthropological approaches to the study of religion. So how did it evolve? Evolutionary phase, psychological phase, and the functional phase, right? So psychological phase means that what is the importance of religion psychologically, and what is its function in a society. Let's say, for example, social control is actually one of the functions of religion, okay, along with political organization. Monotheism and polytheism, you would have heard of these terms in history also. In the modern India, if you studied modern India, these topics are very common. Sacred and profane, forms of religion in tribal societies like animism, animatism, totemism. Many of you would have heard of the word totems, because many tribes associate themselves with totems like banyan tree or mahua tree, and these totems are considered to be sacred, and they're not to be damaged or cut down or harmed in any way. Okay, religion, magic, and science. The difference between all of these. Okay, then terms like priest, shaman, medicine man, witch, these are all the functionaries who are associated with religion. So these are also a part of it. Why? Because in tribal societies, a lot of importance is given to terms like shaman, medicine man, because you would find that one person is there in the village or in the society who had all the knowledge about different herbs and traditional medicines. And then witch, black magic, all of these terms are related to religion. Okay. The next is the technical aspect, which is anthropological theories. These theories are again in, you could say, it is in the form of an evolutionary phase. And why I'm saying this is because, let's say, for example, it starts with classical evolutionism. These classical evolutionists like Tyler, Morgan, Fraser. The next, it comes to historical particularism by Boas. Then there is functionalism by Malinowski. and Structural Functionalism by Radcliffe Brown. So this, when you go through this part, you will find that it is in a kind of an order. Okay. Then there are the Cultural and Personality School of Thought by Ruth Benedict, Margaret Mead. The neo-evolutionism, you had studied neo-Darwinism. So again, neo-evolutionism means that it is a step ahead of the earlier theorists. These were given by Child, White, Salins. Cultural materialism by Marvin Harris. So this is an important topic. There are questions directly and which are repeated on cultural materialism. Also, when you do all of this, you are revising the previous units, because in each and every unit there would be some theory which some evolutionist, some thinker has given, and vice versa. So when you revise this, when you study this, you're revising this, and when you're reading this again, when you go back to those units also, you're revising the theories. So it's there is an overlap. The postmodernism in anthropology. The next unit is on culture, language, and communication. So this topic is about the origin of language, verbal and non-verbal communication, social context of language. This unit you will find its relevance in your GS and essay papers as well, because the social context of language, there are many topics that you get which are related to these topics, like body language or non-verbal communication, its importance. Okay, the social context of language is again a vast and an interesting topic when you go through it. The next is on research methods in anthropology. So you had in the previous video we had done the dating methods, like carbon dating. This is on the research methods, and research methods are one of the key points in anthropology, because all the social science subjects have borrowed this research method or research methodology from anthropology only. For example, the fieldwork tradition or the participant observation method, which is very intensively followed in anthropology, is borrowed by sociology also. Okay, then the tools of data collection, which are observation, interviews, schedules. How do you collect the data? And case study method, life history, oral history. These are all very generic, common terms which you obviously would have heard of. You can even relate to it. Secondaries, what are secondary sources of information? What is the primary source of information? And finally, the analysis and the interpretation of the data which has been collected and to present it. Next topic is on human genetics. So remember in the unit 1.7 when we spoke about terms like cell, DNA, protein synthesis. So this is an application for that what we studied earlier only. Methods of this genetic study, for example, terms like pedigree analysis or twin study, foster child, karyotypic analysis, DNA technologies, recombinant technologies, immunological methods. Many of these terms are also they you come across these terms in the newspaper also. DNA technology and recombinant technology are particularly very common now. Why? Because of the developments in science. The fast developments in science, also due to the COVID. So this is a this is a relatively relevant topic. The terms that you read here, you wouldn't find them out of the world or very difficult or different. Okay, foster child, co-twin method, these are all very common terms. The next topic that we come across is Mendelian genetics. So you would have heard of Mendelian genetics in your NCRTs, in the science NCRT, in the 8th, 9th, 10th NCRT. Mendel is has been mentioned there. The pea plant experiment that he conducted on tall and short plant. So single factor, multi factor, lethal genes, the genes that are fatal are called lethal genes, sublethal, and the polygenic inheritance in man. Once you go through this, you'll find that you'll not even find the need to go through it again, because it is so simple. But the point is that you have to understand it and not memorize it just to write it down while answer writing. But you have to understand why did Mendel conduct those experiments? What was the importance of it and its application? Same for the next unit. So this next unit is actually a continuation of the previous unit. Genetic polymorphism, Mendelian population, okay, then mutation, isolation. Again, you mutation, isolation, migrations. These are all terms which you have already gone through when you were doing neo-Darwinism. When you will do that unit, you will come across all these terms. You don't even have to go through them again. Genetic drift, genetic load, consanguous and non-consanguous mating. So this part you will find it in kinship and the unit on family. So as I said earlier, also there is a lot of overlap in all of these units. The next is on chromosomal aberrations. So you would have heard of terms like Down syndrome, Patau syndrome, or Klinefelter syndrome. These are all again mentioned in the science NCRTs, basic science I'm talking about. Numerical, the kind of what kind, there are two mainly kinds of chromosomal aberrations. So that would be numerical and structural. And these all disorders that they have given, these are either structural or numerical. Genetical imprints in human disease, human DNA profiling, gene mapping, genome study. Okay, the next is on race and racism. So the concept of superior race, inferior race was abolished after anthropological studies gave their their researches. That concept was all abolished. Biological basis of this variation. Okay, why certain races are have certain characteristics, racial criteria, traits, biological basis of this classification, race crossing, the concept of hybrids among human beings, that is called race crossing, racial differentiations. The next is on age, sex, population. So again, you'll find many common terms: the ABO blood group, RH blood group, uh, GM blood enzymes, or HB levels, body fat, pulse rate, mm, functions and sensory perceptions in different cultures, cultural and socioeconomic groups. The next is on concept and methods of ecological anthropology. So this is about biocultural adaptations. Those adaptations, let's say for example, uh, the adaptations you would find in a person who lives in a hot area would be different from a person living in a colder area, and again different for someone who's living in a higher altitude climate. So this is the psychological response, genetic and non-genetic factors. These are the biocultural adaptations. Next is epidemiological anthropology. This is one of the very important contribution and application of anthropology. It focuses on health and disease, infectious, non-infectious diseases. So diseases has been particularly very important over the past 2 years after COVID came, after the emergence of COVID. Nutritional deficiency related diseases, so stunting and this particular part has its own relevance even in particularly for India also. Okay, nutritional deficiencies. The next topic is on concept of human growth and development. So, what is prenatal? What is natal? Infant, childhood? These are all stages of growth. So prenatal would correspond to a particular period, natal, then infant, what age group is in infant, what is in childhood, and then senescence. These are all terms, once you go through them, you'll understand, you will correspond it to your own self. Factors which affects the growth and development. These factors like genetic, environmental, biochemical, nutritional, cultural. I'm sure when you will be reading these terms, you would be getting some kind of a picture in mind. What kind of environmental factors affect growth and development, what kind of nutritional factors. The nutrition is a very important and relevant topic for all, even prelims, GS, and this topic particularly. Cultural and socioeconomic practices, factors. Then there are aging and senescence. There are theories related to that, biological and chronological longevity, human physique, and methodologies for the growth study. What kind of methodologies are adopted to understand the growth? The next unit is on menopause, and other bio events related to fertility. So fertility is also in news because of the stagnation of the population, particularly in India also and in the world also. The change in fertility patterns. Let's say, for example, if there's been a change in the total fertility rate, it is relevant for your prelims also, your GS also, and here there is a direct connection. Fertility patterns and differentials. You can quote examples of South Korea or China or even India for that matter. The demographic theories, biological, social, and cultural, you will find there is again an overlap among in the when you study anthropological theories also and here also. So there are certain demographic theories that have been given, biological and socio-ecological factors which influence fertility, natality, mortality. There are certain factors, and the last one and the very interesting topic is the application of all that you've read. Let's say in nutrition, what is the application of anthropology, in designing of defense and other equipments, in forensic science, even in personal use. There are so many items that have direct application of anthropology. Applied genetics like paternity diagnosis or DNA technology, genetic counseling. So when you do this topic also, you will be getting so many keywords that you can apply in GS papers related to science, technology, biology. You know, these key terms are important for getting you 1 mark extra, and that decides your rank. So I hope that you've been able to understand this whole paper one syllabus that we have conducted over 3 sessions. We'll be starting with the next paper two also, and we'll try to finish it within 2 sessions, and then we'll take up the previous year questions. If you have any queries, kindly put them up in the comment section so that we can answer them. And do like and subscribe this video as well as the channel. Thank you so much for your time.